The Forego's a race I'm very much looking forward to discussing. Let's take a look at the field. Only 8 winning here. Grade 1, 7/8 of a mile on the main track. Your post-time favorite at odds of 4 to 5 was City of Light. City of Light coming in from Michael McCarthy. Grade 1 winner on the West Coast. He defeated Accelerate going 2 turns down at Oaklawn. And he, you know what, that 1.25 miles in the Gold Cup at Santa Anita, not his game, not his forte. You get him back to this. This is what he wants to do. And he figured to take a world of beating in here. Outside of that, you had some interesting alternatives if you were so inclined to take shots against. Ultimately, City of Light comes up a little bit short. Larry Colmus with the stretch run of this year's Forego.
And comes charging on through, and they're into the stretch. Whitmore has come through on the inside. City of Light is right alongside. The two of them coming to the final furlong together. Whitmore's in front. City of Light runs hard at him on the outside. They're 1-2 at the 16th pole. Whitmore digs in, drifts out. It's gonna be Whitmore and Ricardo Santana Jr. to do it over City of Light.
Whitmore gets the job done for Ron Moquette at odds of 8 to 1 over City of Light, your 4 to 5 favorite who runs second. And Limousine Liberal, a good effort from him beneath Jose Ortiz at odds of 6 to 1 to round out your trifecta. Let's discuss Whitmore. He's won half of his 22 lifetime starts. And you see he's been second or third on 7 other occasions. Just under $2 million in career earnings, owned by La Penta, Moquette, and Head of Plains Partners LLC, trained by Ron Moquette. Bred by John Liviakis in Kentucky, ridden to victory by Ricardo Santana Jr., and you see the pedigree at the bottom of the horse card. He's by Pleasantly Perfect out of a Scat Daddy mare named Melody's Spirit. 104 buyer, 124 time form U.S. rating for Whitmore winning this race. City of Light, 102 buyer, 123 time form U.S. rating. Limousine Liberal, 102 buyer, 121 time form U.S. rating. Now again, you got to factor in these numbers that I'm giving you from time form. They're factoring in the pace situation. So when we get to a horse like CZ Rocket, who runs 4th with a 100 buyer, but he earns a 123 time form U.S. rating, it's because he was up there prompting the pace throughout, and that's also why a horse like Heartwood, who ran 6th, he only earned a 97 buyer, but he also got a 123 time form U.S. rating. Those are the pace sort of incorporated numbers. You can look at the raw numbers and find those on timeformus.com. Whitmore comes home in 1274 as opposed to City of Light comes home in 1283 as opposed to Limousine Liberal, who flew home in 1249. Now, look, this race is a tale of 2 trips between the top 2 horses. Whitmore, you will not see a better circumstance play out in a horse race than the one you saw with Whitmore. Because he's in there, he's moving very, very well in behind horses, but pretty quick Ricardo Santana is going to have to make a decision. Where am I going to go to find a hole until Heartwood decides to float about a path and a half off the rail, and it's right there sitting in front of you. Santana pushes, he goes, and boom, that's that. There are some people that believe that the inside portion of the main track at Saratoga on Saturday was advantageous from where you wanted to be. I don't think it hurt, but I don't think it was the end-all be-all that some are suggesting it was. And again, how different is that than a normal day? The shortest distance around the track is down on the inside, and unless it's a dead rail, which certainly wasn't the case on Saturday, isn't that usually where you want to be? I think Whitmore had all the best of it. I don't want to take anything away from the effort, but it was an instance where he had just an absolute dream situation. Ron Moquette, after the race, they're talking about looking at just one step at a time. They're going to let the horse take them. Certainly, there's an eye on the Breeders' Cup, but the next spot for them sounds like it's going to be at Keeneland in the Phoenix. That's going to be on October the 6th. Let's talk about City of Light. City of Light breaks from the far outside, post number 8. And I've seen and heard some whispers on Twitter about people being critical of the ride from Arad Ortiz Jr. My rebuttal to that would be, what is he supposed to do? Sure, he's stacked 4 or 5 wide basically throughout, but do you want him to take him all the way back? Do you want him to hustle and push him to the front end? Which, by the way, if you had done that, you're going to go 22-2, 44-4 for a half mile, and basically the majority of the pace ends up the track. Would you have rather him done that? And then he's going to get bashed for that. Thought it was a perfect ride. You're on a 4 to 5 shot. Keep him out of harm's way, and you think you're better than these horses. The thing I think that got City of Light beat, not only a good effort from Whitmore, and perhaps, again, he carried a heck of a lot more ground. I'm concerned that there might be something a little off with City of Light. I know some folks don't like to listen to the lead change situation. He has always been like clockwork. And then all of a sudden here, this day, he is very, very late with the lead change. That coincides, excuse me, with his trainer, Mike McCarthy, saying they've had a stubborn foot bruise that they've been dealing with this horse, and that forced him to change the plan from running in the Whitney to run here 3 weeks later in the Forego. A stubborn foot bruise, you're incredibly late to change leads, and you had never been late to change leads prior. I don't like it. Doesn't make me feel good. It's an instance where perhaps he just needs a little bit more time and things are going to get ironed out, and we haven't heard anything about where he may or may not go. This would be an instance where I would be looking at it saying, as well as he ran here on Saturday, I would be a little bit skeptical, or maybe I would just put it this way. I'd be more inclined to take a shot against him wherever he shows up next because of what I saw on Saturday. As far as the rest of the field is concerned, Limousine Liberal thought it was a very good effort from him. Keep in mind, he likes Churchill Downs. That's where some of these big races are going to be come November, the first weekend. CZ Rocket, same can be said for him. I do wonder, and I understand he was close to that pace, I do wonder if he's one of those horses that when the real sort of, when he gets tested for class, does he quite pass it? Not totally convinced just yet. No dozing, I can't really sit here and have any excuses. I liked him in this spot, and I just thought he wasn't as good as the top four. Awesome Slew is the last one that I really want to touch on because there's still a scenario where in the preview I spoke about it, and I said I'm not entirely convinced that he is what he once was. He's 5 years old now, and perhaps he's lost a step because that optional claiming effort, he just never threatened. I'm going to be a little bit kinder now, probably because he's going to offer value wherever he shows up next. This instance here, John Velasquez has him well behind the field. There's an honest pace in front of him, so he had something to run at. Keep him down on the inside. If you believe that inside was good, he had that going for him as well. But when it looked like he was starting to run, because he essentially was following Whitmore, Whitmore is able to go through as Awesome Slew was starting to go. Heartwood drifts down a little bit to the point where John has to sort of tighten up on him, and he can't go on and can't really fully push on him. I think this is I think he was going to run well. I don't know that he was going to win or threaten for the win, but I think he would have gotten pretty darn close to hitting the board, considering he was only a handful of lengths back from third. He was not allowed to go. Keep in mind, he likes Churchill Downs. The one-turn mile might be a little bit far for him, but if he shows up in some sort of a prep spot, or perhaps it's a race like the ACAC, which I believe he won last year, don't totally write Awesome Slew off just yet. I didn't love him coming into this spot, but now I've got a couple of races that probably don't look great on paper. This one is better than it's going to look on paper, and I think he was going to run a little bit. Awesome Slew, he may be one that you want to file away in your DRF horse watch. One that you probably also want to file away, Whitmore. He's a grade 1 winner now. We've always known one turn, that's his game. He's a grade 1 winner at 7/8 of a mile now, and I even think he's better going a little bit shorter. It'll be interesting to see how they get him to the Breeders' Cup Sprint, or if they choose to go somewhere else, because this was a win and you're in for the dirt mile. Whitmore, it sounds like the Phoenix at Keeneland in the first weekend in October. Then after that, they're going to let the horse talk to them, let them know what's going on. But look, big effort from him, albeit with a beautiful dream trip up the inside. Whitmore's a grade 1 winner. He wins the grade 1 Forego, 104 Beyer, 124 Timeform US rating.